Grab your medic bags and don't act dumb, because we're checking out the Payday 2 Community Iceberg, throwing in some of my own entries as always. Thank you Veggie BLT for creating this iceberg. Oh, and of course, spoilers ahead. Let's start with Layer 1, the normal tier. 2 Hoxtons in Hox Out. You can save Hoxton as Hoxton in Hoxton's Breakout. Hoxtonception. Dancing animations. When using the Hox HUD mod, typing in Hox Delicious in the game chat causes all civilians on the map to break out into dance. I don't think these are unused animations and was just included in the mod as an Easter egg. Shame the mod is outdated now. Giant toothbrush in Almia's toast. These are 2 lootable items in the Panic Room and White Christmas maps respectively. The giant toothbrush is an Uber Haxonova reference to his reaction to a pretty large toothbrush in Payday the Heist's Panic Room map.
Holy shit, look at this big ass toothbrush.
And Almia's toast references Overkill's lead producer Almia Listo's favorite food. Also, both of these items are worth millions of dollars if secured. Pro Jobs. Easily recognizable due to their red border over the job, Pro Jobs rewarded more money and XP at the cost of no restarts, meaning if you failed, that's it. They were removed sometime in 2016 because of fading popularity, but was still a cool concept nevertheless. Overdrill. The infamous Payday the Heist secret that is the result of a big ARG involving multiple heists. It's a secret vault in the First World Bank filled with 70 bags worth of Mayan gold. To unlock Overdrill, you need to follow some steps and then wait 2,000 seconds or 33 minutes on normal difficulties or 7,200 seconds, 2 hours on the highest difficulty, which at the time was Overkill 145+. The first 4 members to complete this secret had their names carved into the Overdrill vault in Payday 2 and were among the first to receive access to the Payday 2 beta, TF2 Sentry in Train Heist. The sentry you're tasked with collecting in the train heist is just a level 1 sentry from TF2. Plus the ammo cases have the TF2 Engineers class icon on them. This turret also has a short cameo in the Henry's Rock heist as well. In the train heist, however, you can also find MF Steve. Or at the very least his clipboard in the train heists map. Who is he? Apparently we find out later he's the pyrotechnician in the Alesso heist. Most people believe this is an MF Doom reference, but this is actually shorthand for Marina Fan Stev, who was a pretty big streamer at the time. Overkill loves to reference creators when they can. 7-day heists. In the pre-planning screen of a heist, the day counter goes all the way up to 7 days, alluding to the fact we could have had a 7-day heist. But Overkill said they wouldn't be adding this in post-launch as testing revealed it wasn't fun and a slog to get through. I guess the closest thing we'll ever get to a 7-day heist is the crime spree mode. Every mask is personalized. With the amount of materials, patterns, and colors we're given to customize masks, it's possible that every heister could come up with their own personalized mask to fit their preferred heister. Either that or this is poking fun at the Super Mario 64's every copy is personalized entry.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
Houston is Dallas's brother. One of the most well-known pieces of lore, Houston was introduced under the Hoxton name after the original was jailed when a rat snitched on him, and later adopted the name Houston when Old Hox came back.
All right, little brother.
It's also a fitting name as Houston is considered by many to be the brother city of Dallas. The Crime Fest fiasco, an infamous moment in the Payday 2 community where Crime Fest 2015, an annual event that released massive amounts of content, added microtransactions to the game, despite the fact the developers said they would never add these to Payday 2, complete with weapon nerfs and rare weapon skins that made these guns more powerful. And while the devs did try to justify their reasoning, it did nothing to stem the tide of outrage of the community. This led to 2015 Crime Fest being ruined, widespread gaming media coverage, and even boycotts and review bombing. While the devs have completely removed these microtransactions in Update 100, this definitely isn't the last time we'll talk about this fiasco. The Ballad of Bobblehead Bob. Bobblehead Bob is the name given to a random civilian in the Big Bank heist trailer who wants to take out a loan for his Kawaii Dozer bobblehead brand. After getting down on the ground, Dallas uses his Stockholm Syndrome perk to have Bob revive him and throws him a stack of cash as a reward, which leads to him falling off the roof. Don't worry, he survives. He then shows up in multiple different trailers and now serves drinks at Jimmy's bar in the safe house. Now for some bonus entries.
I need a medic bag!
This is the most iconic line in Payday history, said by Mastermind Dallas every time he gets low on health. Almost all Payday 2 memes use this line or Dallas's pain shout in some way. There's also another iconic line that we'll get to a bit later. Comically large spoon. Similar to the giant toothbrush, this is a reference to YouTuber The Russian Badger, jokingly saying that if we bully Almir enough, he'll add a comically large spoon to the game. Sure enough, it was added in Update 205, and if you kill 100 enemies with the spoon, you unlock its golden variant, which sets cops on fire for some reason. Hey, I'm not complaining. Moving on to Layer 2, the hard tier. Train heist explosive ammo. Throwing an ammo bag a fair distance would cause them to explode. Combine this with the fact that there was 40 bags of ammo and the truck loot drop wasn't available at the time made for a very frustrating stealth experience. Lugging bags down the cliffside hoping they don't explode, which would cost you money and your stealth bonus. Thankfully, this is no longer the case. Also, back then, the train heist was an optional day 2 of armored transport hits before becoming its own standalone heist. The Kataru, the main antagonists of the Payday crew led by the Dentist, assisted by Kento, and the Murky Water Group. Originally an ancient secret society led by 4 kings, they ruled the world from the shadows with the help of a powerful artifact, and also dabbled into the arcane. But in 1814, with the burning of the White House, a watcher called Baldwin defected and tried to steal the item. He disappeared, and the alliance ended up collapsing with the Dentist trying to control the resulting power struggle. The item that was stolen would be referred to as Baldwin's Lament. Almir mask. Possibly the rarest mask out there, this mask was only made available upon obtaining an Almir mask keychain from the Payday 2 clip-ons merch. This keychain would come with a code that would unlock said mask, but this was very rare to find. However, Overkill did release codes to content creators to give to their fans a couple years ago. Election Day Plan C. Tagging the wrong truck and escaping on day 1 on the election day heist would force you to commit more direct voter fraud by robbing a bank and destroying ballot boxes on the way, forcing a recount and giving the elephant another chance to rig the vote. It's a loud heist and there's actual achievements for doing Plan C. Counterfeit stealth. In Payday the Heist, this heist was a part stealth, part loud heist. But when re-released in Payday 2, a YouTuber by the name of Mark MB found out through exploits you could stealth the whole counterfeit heist, allowing you to farm cash and infamy to your heart's content. This was patched out in Update 201, as now blowing the safe up automatically triggers the heist to go loud, although it's still technically stealthable if you just go after the printing plates. Mark MB has a full playlist on counterfeit stealth if you're interested. Cops might be a clone army, a little in-game joke that's supposed to be the canonical reason as to why you're fighting so many cops on higher difficulties. It's also shown as a stock market in the Big Bank Heist. The web series. Directed by Demian Lichtenstein, this 6-episode miniseries was created to promote the release of Payday 2. It's still up on YouTube, and I'll provide a link in the description to the playlist. Crime War. This is the name of a Payday 2 competitive shooter exclusive to mobile devices. You could play as the heisters or the cops, and players part of the closed beta in 2018 said it was one of the best mobile shooters at the time. However, it went through development hell, multiple publishers, and even had a full remake to be more similar to Payday 2 before finally being released publicly in June 2023. But only lasted 4 months and the service shut down in October of the same year. Diesel engine problems. Diesel is the name of the engine Payday 2 runs on and is pretty much held together by duct tape and willpower. Almost 90% of all bugs and glitches is the result of this archaic engine. Hell, Overkill Studios had trouble implementing drum mags and custom suits due to how limiting this engine is. Payday 3 solved this issue by moving to the Unreal Engine. Now, if only they could solve how to make the game fun.
Jesus in a pickle!
What you just heard was the most common voice line Bane would say every time chains went down during a heist. It was used so often, it became a meme in the community, spawning a mask and a Run DMC parody song with Chains' VA singing the song.
Pickle, pickle, ha! Something knocked me out! Everybody shout, he's in a pickle! Chains is in a pickle!
Surprisingly, I've never heard this voice line when playing Payday 2. Guess it's exclusively a Payday the Heist voice line.
Pickle, 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 pickle!
Payday poster in Hardcore Henry. Pretty self-explanatory since this film and Payday 2 had an official collaboration. There's also Jimmy's mask in this scene here. Duplication glitch. This has been around since the beginning of the game and can still be performed at the time of recording. Basically, if you and another player pick up a consumable item, like keycards, at the same time, you will both get a copy of that item. But this also works in reverse, such as if you both use a keycard on the same door at the same time, you'll both lose that item, which can softlock certain maps if performed. Jacket has 3 hands. We all know Jacket uses a tape recorder to communicate in-game, but how is he using the tape recorder during the heist when both of his hands are on the gun? Another gaming mystery, to be sure. Payday masks in John Wick. This is the same as the Hardcore Henry entry, as these two also had an official collaboration. You can find this scene in the second film, Old Meth Formula. In Rats and Cook-Off, usually you have to wait for Bane to correct himself to know the right ingredient, but prior to update 89, Bane could straight up get it wrong and actually mean another ingredient than what he said. This led to players opening up whole spreadsheets to know which voice line translated to what ingredient needed to be added. I'm so glad this isn't a thing anymore. Cop packs/safes. During the Hype Train Spring Break event in 2015, a $20 DLC was released called the Completely Overkill Pack. Buying this would get you 4 exclusive Mega Masks and a secret that would be revealed down the line. It turned out to be an exclusive weapon safe. Yeah, also, did I mention this was revealed hot off the heels of the Crime Fest fiasco? Needless to say, people were peeved. To appease the angry fans, Overkill added 10 new Mega Masks and 7 free DLCs to cop owners. Due to its limited run, these weapon skins are considered the rarest in the game. Clover's hair physics. Clover's hair is an eldritch abomination that, when agitated, is seen attempting to free itself from its mortal prison and consume the whole world. Either that or it's the diesel engine acting up again. Ricochet miniguns. There was a time in Payday 2 where miniguns could turn games into hailstorms, but I'll go a bit more in depth with this one in a future entry. Achievement drills. Another example of Overkill pushing those damn safes again. The achievements Golden Ticket, Pork Royale, We Do It Live, and You Can Run But Not Hide, earned in First World Bank, Slaughterhouse, Framing Frame, and Firestarter respectively, netted you free safes and drills upon completion. The skins were pretty average though. Now, they're just normal achievements. The Long Guide. Quite possibly the most in-depth guide to Payday 2 ever made. Tells you every variation of heists and goes fully in-depth into mechanics like stealth and cash and XP earned. It's also, as the name implies, long. While some parts are no longer up to date, it's still an invaluable tool to use, especially if you're new. Infinite skill points. During Update 100, Overkill completely reworked the skill trees in the game, but introduced an interesting glitch. Cable Guy counted as taking up 2 slots, but when you sold it, you kept the other point, allowing you to completely max out every skill in the game, finally giving players a chance to beat Goat Sim 1 down. It was quickly patched out, however. Shotgun pellet damage. Instead of each shell collectively adding up to max damage, each pellet shot would carry the max damage of that shotgun, leading to shotguns dominating metas due to its broken potential. And while a lot of shotguns have been nerfed, they're still a very viable weapon to use. Hotline Miami Day 2 fire glitch. If you don't turn on the sprinklers when the vault room is set alight, no cops will enter that area. Combine that with the dodge and armor, and you can safely fix the drill with little to no damage taken. Just be sure to keep your bags away though. Patient becomes a smoker in No Mercy. It's no surprise that the No Mercy heist is just a massive Left 4 Dead reference. To further prove that point, each time you drain the patient's blood, he starts to look and sound a lot like a Left 4 Dead smoker. Now for some bonus entries. Presidential masks. It's no secret that in the big bank and armored transport heists, Overkill added in presidential masks of different time periods of America. But in 2017 and 2021, Overkill added both a Donald Trump/God Emperor mask and a Joe Biden mask, in that order, to celebrate the inauguration day of both presidents. Good to see them keeping up with the times. The Paycheck Gang. As is the case with everything, once something becomes popular enough, it'll have its fair share of cheap knockoffs, like these masks sold from various third-party vendors that look god-awful. The community claimed that these masks belong to the Paycheck Gang, a knockoff group inspired by the Payday Gang and are completely unremarkable. Here's a post detailing its members and contractors, and Overkill even added 2 Paycheck masks to the game. Shame we didn't get a Houston or Wolf mask though. Moving on to Layer 3, the very hard tier. Payday 2 Text Adventure, a short text-based adventure which held codes for some exclusive masks that are no longer obtainable, one of which we'll talk about a bit later. Hell's Island Jump. Tired of waiting for drills to finish? Just jump over the fence and get on with it. This was an exploit and was quickly patched out. Easy difficulty in Payday the Heist. Only 2 heists ever had this difficulty, and that's First World Bank and Heat Street and nowhere else. Believe it or not, this difficulty is still harder than Payday 2's normal difficulty, Missing Baby Driver DLC. Had the release date not been pushed up from August to June of 2017, we could have had yet another movie tie-in DLC. It ended up getting scrapped as they couldn't develop the DLC in time for the movie. Star VR. This was a VR headset developed by Starbreeze and Acer that was pretty ahead of its time when announced, with ultra widescreen support. But a combination of corporate politics, financial struggles, and just bad timing caused this headset to flop hard. It also didn't help that it had a $3,000 price tag and was only available to enterprises instead of consumers. Now, it's just a collector's item for VR enthusiasts. Heister head perspective. Getting really close to a heister's head causes it to grow to an unnatural size, making it look small in comparison. Brought to you by another diesel engine quirk. Cams control police activity. Going back to Payday the Heist, destroying cameras in a heist would actually cause the AI in the game to have a harder time finding you in those areas. Kinda like a pseudo-stealth. People believe this mechanic came to Payday 2, but no, they're purely there for stealth gameplay. All tier bonuses. In a very old version of Payday 2, spending enough points on a specific skill tree would grant bonuses focusing on survivability. They were removed and absorbed into the perk deck system in Update 39, The Dentist's Age. No one really knows how old the dentist is. It's most likely he's around 200 years old, but some people speculate him to be way older if he was around during the time of the Khans. You can see him during historical events in the Diamond trailer as well. Classic Heist's time paradox. Here's a head scratcher for you. If Payday 2's version of Panic Room has you doing it for the first time, how did Hoxton's fingerprints get on the Panic Room which led to his arrest? Pretty big plot hole, don't you think? Also, every heist with the exception of First World Bank, Heat Street, and No Mercy also looks like they're happening for the first time. First World Bank and Heat Streets are just repeats, while No Mercy had a complete retcon of why they were there. The wordsmith. If you were following the Payday 2 storyline as it progressed, you would know the game's story kinda lost the plot after Golden Green Casino and wrote themselves into a corner during the Hardcore Henry heists. Enter Overkill Wordsmith, an employee at Overkill who took all these jumbled up pieces of lore and forged them into one cohesive narrative, writing everything from Alaskan Deal onwards. Needless to say, Wordsmith single-handedly saved the Payday 2 storyline and gave us an epic conclusion to the story, at least until Payday 3 came out. Hoxton's multiple actors. Hoxton had quite a few people portraying him over the years. He was portrayed as Richard Blom in Payday the Heist, Josh Len in Payday 2, and a mystery actor in the Hardcore Henry trailer, all the while being voiced by Pete Gold in every iteration. Jacket's stolen identity. While Overkill and the FBI files have confirmed the heisted Jacket is the same person from Hotline Miami, many fans have speculated he might be an overzealous fan of the Russian mob-killing psycho and assumed his identity after the events of Hotline Miami 2. Payday 2 runs on a racing engine. The very first title released on the Diesel engine was a game called Ballistics. It was made in 2001 by Grin, which later became Overkill Studios. But the most ironic part of this is the fact that Overkill had problems implementing cars and driving mechanics in an engine built for racing games. Clover helped in Hoxout. This is a little bit of a retroactive storytelling bit, as on a corkboard in Hoxton's Revenge, it's shown that Clover helped with Hoxton's breakout, despite being added into the game months after alongside the Diamond Heist. Bane vapes. He's seen vaping in the web series. That's pretty much it. Car Shop could be rushed with one more C4. Had the gang brought along one extra charge of C4 for the door to the keys, they could simply walk in, throw down an ECM, grab the keys, plot the pavement, and drive off. Minigun speed boost. Ever wanted to cosplay as Sonic the Hedgehog in Payday 2? All you had to do was grab the minigun, add an attachment that removed the speed penalty, and you could run as fast as a Falco Genie in the Car Shop heist. It was very quickly patched out. Henry's Rock is Hangar 51. While not confirmed by anyone, the map layout is almost identical to the Indiana Jones movie, and hell, you can even find the Ark of the Covenant in there. Senator Mario in a top hat. In the FBI Files trailer, you can see this quick reference to YouTuber Mario in a top hat, famous for his entertaining and well-edited Payday PSA videos. Highly recommend checking them out when you got some time. The Pen. It's actually a pencil, but whatever. A secret melee weapon, which might also be a John Wick reference, that was unlockable by finding a secret website or getting a code from the Steam forums during Day 8 of the Search for Kento event. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, it's currently unavailable. April Fool's Ricochet. For one glorious April Fool's Day in 2017, Ricochet was applied to every gun. Yes, even RPGs and grenade launchers were affected. This turned every heist into a Japanese bullet hell game. It's no longer available, but what annoys me is that this isn't even a mutator you can activate in custom lobbies. Feels bad, man. Overkill HQ real-life police raid. In an ironic twist of fate, Overkill's office was raided by Swedish police on suspicion of insider crimes. Only 2 people were arrested on charges of insider trading. One of these people being ex-CEO of Starbreeze and co-founder of Overkill, Bo Anderson. He had actually left the company a couple of days ago after selling all his shares, but he was cleared of all charges. The Elephant was the OG Hardcore Henry's contractor. Going through the game's files revealed unused voice lines of the Elephant briefing you on the Hardcore Henry heists instead of Jimmy. He's also seen giving Dallas the contracts in the trailer as well. Shadow Raid helicopter exploit. 5 minutes into the Shadow Raid heist, there's a 50% chance of a helicopter bringing in a Murky Crate or extra guards. If you stand on the spawn location of one of those places, the game will default to the unoccupied area, allowing you to force an extra loot drop if you wish. $500 Alienware mask. If you bought the Alienware Alpha computer, which costs $500 at the time, and then played Payday 2 on it, you would be awarded 2 exclusive masks. There was no other way to obtain these masks unless you won the ASCII art contest, the Make Your Own Heist contest, or obtained it through the Payday 2 text adventure. Vlad in the Safe House. Vlad is actually an interactable member of your safe house until you complete both the Diamond and Golden Grin Casino heists. Then he'll be replaced with some of his cupcakes and the diamond itself. He later reappears in the Ukrainian prisoner heist and shows up again in the Payday 2 secret, which we'll touch on in a future entry. Now for some bonus entries. Unobtainable DLC. The sad fact of licensing IPs is that the license will run out eventually, including the rights to said IPs. This has unfortunately led to these Payday 2 DLCs being removed from the Steam store and unobtainable without the use of a You can also buy the keys, but don't buy into what those scalpers are selling. Bodhi's VA is IRL Hoxton. Pretty self-explanatory. I mean, there's a reason he's dubbed over in every IRL video he's in. Speaking of VAs, Dallas's VA in Hoxout trailer. This is the only time Dallas's voice actor from the game, Simon Kerr, has ever played him in a cinematic trailer. They allowed this as everyone had their masks on for the whole trailer. Moving on to layer 4, the Overkill difficulty. Lucy was here. There are multiple heists in the game where if you go out of bounds, you can find the text, Lucy was here, and Fraz. These 2 are map designers putting a signature on the maps they made, and at the time of recording, I found 5 signatures on these maps. Hoxton's real name is Jim. Jim Hawksworth is his full name as stated by the dentist in his trailer.
Would you show Mr. Steele the Department of Corrections transfer plan for inmate Jim Hawksworth?
Dallas also refers to Hoxton as Jim multiple times as well.
Jim, relax.
Which in Safe House Nightmare. Here's another Left 4 Dead reference. There are 4 baby masks in Safe House Nightmare, 1 for each difficulty at the time, so up to Overkill. Choosing the right mask for the difficulty you're on would grant an achievement and the mask, but the wrong one would spawn a Left 4 Dead witch to jump scare and down you. But the witch can also jump scare you in the cook-off job and the No Mercy heist. Speaking of No Mercy, Dr. Crowbar. This is the name found on a locker in the No Mercy heist, a pretty obvious reference to Gordon Freeman from the Half-Life series. I mean, there's even a crowbar in the locker itself. Fire damage calculation. When fire weapons were first introduced, there was a bug that calculated every tick of damage as a kill, leading to players having thousands of kills on the stat screen and finally giving us a way to complete the Safe House Challenge Robbed a Cop. I jest, you're never gonna get robbed a cop. Trashly's giveaway. Ashley was a Steam forum moderator and official Overkill outreach on the 4chan General Video Games Payday 2 thread. She obtained the Trashly nickname as she had a bad reputation among the community, but she gave away Steam codes for rare masks every now and then, so I guess she wasn't that bad. Unlike this next person, your opinion, my choice. Flashbangs in OG Payday 2 were unavoidable surprise mechanics to keep players moving, but was more of a nuisance than anything. When the community requested the ability to destroy flashbangs, Bo Anderson mocked the community on Steam forums, suggesting adding a baby mode and eventually saying that it was your opinion, my choice. The flashbangs were eventually changed, but man, PR really isn't Overkill's strong suit, is it? Skull dozers aren't fully human. In the FBI files, Commissioner Garrett refers to these guys as drug-enhanced cyber warriors and not fully human. Basically, these guys are just discount space marines. Baldwin under the White House. Remember how I said a man called Baldwin stole a powerful artifact from the Kataru? Well, we find his burnt shadow under the White House seemingly stopped by this pyramid structure. This is also confirmed by the dentist during the Payday 2 secret ending.
Poor old Baldwin. He was a passable watcher, but his ambitions got the better of him. Some humans refuse to accept their place in the universe.
Clover's old voice actress is Bonnie. Yes, Rona Cameron, the voice of Bonnie, was the original voice of Clover. What, did you think I was going to say Sean and Brennan? Yeah, the Iceberg said that as well, but the name doesn't appear anywhere in the credits, and it also says Rona Cameron voiced Bonnie. Regardless, after realizing that a Scottish accent for an Irish heister didn't make sense, she was replaced by Aoife Duffin. A year later, Bonnie was introduced with Rona Cameron's voice. M41A pulse rifle. In 2015, people found a reload animation called Xeno in the game files that didn't fit any gun. However, when paired with an M41A pulse rifle from the Alien series, it fit perfectly. Another piece of cut content showing us what could have been. The Nephilim. Delving into biblical references now, the Nephilim are an ancient alien race that are as tall as skyscrapers and are responsible for the artifacts that led to the Payday 2 secret. You can also see them in old photographs, remains in museums, at Henry's Rock, and one is even watching you in the distance in the Shacklethorne auction heist. Electric Center Drop Rate. This is a mask pattern you can get from card drops, but in the beta of Payday 2, due to a bug, Electric Center was the only card drop item you could get. It quickly became a joke in the community, and as a joke, Overkill made it an infamous rarity item at launch. Anti-Sphere Materials /Pack. A crossover with the game Anti-Sphere gave us 2 free masks and 6 more if you bought the game, but the materials and patterns never made it to the game for some reason, which is a shame because these look really cool. Drill Break Formula. Turns out the random drill breaking isn't so random. With a couple of exceptions, drills will always break 1 to 3 times, and it's decided when the drill is placed. For example, a break in the first third will guarantee 2 more breaks, and a break around the halfway mark will guarantee another break later. Long Guide co-author Random Kenny made a full detailed version about this topic if you're interested. Shacklethorne is a H.P. Lovecraft novel. This heist is based off the short story The Terrible Old Man. Hell, Duke even agrees as well.
More like we're heisting an H.P. Lovecraft novel.
But there's also references to the stories The Rats in the Walls through Locke.
Lady, there's probably rats in the walls.
And Shadow over Innsmouth through Duke.
If the guests smell of fish, I suggest getting the hell out of here.
But this isn't the only Lovecraft location we'll mention in this iceberg. Lone Wolf 4chan conspiracy. On the V-board of 4chan, someone claiming to be an Overkill insider accurately predicted many of the 2015 Crime Fest updates before they were announced, like weapon skins and stats. They always posted with a Lone Wolf image, which led to many theorizing that this was Overkill's ex-co-founder Ulf Anderson, the voice of Wolf. But this is still up to debate. The crew started 2 apocalypses. A fan theory stating that not only is the Payday 2 crew responsible for the green flu outbreak leading to the events of Left 4 Dead, but assuming the White House normal ending is canon, gave control of the world to the dentist and his secret society to control the world. In my opinion, however, I believe the secret ending is the canon ending, and Overkill devs have stated that after the heist No Mercy, all traces of the green flu were destroyed when murky water bombed the hospital. So no zombies for you, unfortunately. Lucille Countdown. In 2018, Overkill launched a site with nothing but a big countdown timer with mysterious noises that changed every day. People were expecting a big content drop, but it was disappointingly revealed to be an announcement for Overkill's The Walking Dead game, and well, we all know how that turned out. All we got out of it was Negan's baseball bat, Lucille. Missing HRT units. You know how Bane always says these lines in between assault waves?
They sent in an extraction team to free the civilians. They must be stopped. We'll lose our leverage.
Well, on Overkill difficulty and above, they actually existed for a time in Payday 2, sporting lighter armor and more damage. They were removed in Update 109.1 for some unknown reason, but some can still be found in scripted events. Hostages can save you. Pre-Update 100, if you had the Stockholm Syndrome perk, you could interact with a civilian to revive you whenever you went down. but this only worked if they weren't cable-tied, making this skill incredibly situational. Now, they'll just trade themselves to free you from custody. The diamond is used as a part of the Golden Grin Casino drill. I mean, how? The BFD is a giant plasma cutter and doesn't have a tip? Yeah, this doesn't make a lot of sense, and we can clearly tell someone was trying to find a use for the diamond. But hey, at least it found a use in the secret ending. Now for some bonus entries. Old thermal drill sound. This is what the thermal drill sounded like in the pre-beta. Yeah, there's a reason it received the nickname the Hellborer. Aussies got free Hotline Miami 2 codes. Buying Hotline Miami 2 on Steam grants you a slew of new items in Payday 2, including the Heister Jacket and the Sociopath perk deck. Aussies were unable to obtain these items as Hotline Miami 2 was banned in their country. To resolve this, if you sent an email to Overkill with the line Australian Heister calling in and photo proof of your Aussie citizenship, you would be sent free codes to unlock said items. Unfortunately, this was discontinued in 2021. North Star Hydra Glitch. The North Star sniper rifle required the use of community challenges to unlock it and its many attachments. One challenge is to get 1,000 double kills with the North Star. Normally using mutators will disable all progression towards challenges. However, this doesn't apply to the Hydra modifier in this particular instance only. Just boot up No Mercy, set the modifier to max, and grab yourself an easy 1,000 double kills. Moving on to Layer 5, the Mayhem difficulty. Ulf didn't lose his voice in The Christmas Carol. A popular theory as to why Ulf didn't reprise his role as Wolf was because he scarred his vocal cords in the 2014 Christmas Carol. This seems plausible due to his style of voice acting, but Ulf himself later confirmed this wasn't the case and later left Overkill with perfectly healthy vocal cords. President Bane. After solving the Payday 2 secret, the artifact under the White House is activated and Bane's consciousness is revived into the body of the US president. This is confirmed when the president says Bane's famous line, "Let's do this." The Black Dozer's old shotgun. Black Dozers originally had a modified ISMA shotgun with a drum magazine. When players requested drum mags for themselves, the shotgun was changed to stock and Overkill said they can't add them, citing diesel engine limitations. We later got drum mags, but the Dozer's shotgun was never reverted. Trollface lawsuit threat. On top of all the 2015 Crime Fest drama, Overkill also faced a lawsuit from Carlos Ramirez's representatives, demanding the removal of the newly added Trollface mask, called Baitface, from Payday 2. They also removed this mask from Payday the Heist as well, and both were replaced with the Funny Man mask. Hoxton's prison has arts and crafts. Unless he got it smuggled in somehow, this is the only canonical explanation as to how Hoxton had his own mask ready to go immediately after breaking out. Matt Roscoe is an agent of the Kataru. Isn't it odd that Matt Roscoe, a simple getaway driver, knows of Kento and information that can destroy the Payday gang? Most of this information can only be gathered from contacts inside Murky Water, as the crew didn't know about anything until Locke entered the scene. Matt also hints at the safe house that he knows who's behind the Murkies with his line,
"I know things. I know many things."
A pretty big indicator he knows more than he's letting on. Hell, Locke even acknowledges this by saying that Matt is an agent of an unknown organization, which we know as the Kataru. Hoxton Revenge was the third day of Hoxton Breakout. Asset files in Hoxton's Revenge was all named Hox_3, with Hoxton's Breakout files also being named Hox_1 and 2 respectively, alluding to the fact Hoxton's Breakout was to be a 3-day heist. I'm glad they split this up, as not only would this have been a monstrous heist to complete in one sitting, but also gave us some well-needed suspense leading up to the traitor. Yacht Heist is from Payday the Heist. Speaking of game assets, internal files and assets from Payday the Heist reveals that the Yacht Heist was being worked on before Payday 2, but was cut for some reason, possibly due to the horrible stealth mechanics of the first game. However, Payday 2 would end up recycling these old files into the heist we know and love today. Speaking of stealth, old stealth mechanics. Stealth mechanics at launch were an entirely different beast, a time when silencers didn't work well and guard domination was the meta. Because guard domination didn't trigger a page align, and you had to unlock a skill to use 4 pages, more people would dominate every guard on the map and walk out with everything they need, making stealth back then much easier. Detection was still pretty jank though, even back then. PDG Charm. Well, technically it's PDG Tarn, but regardless, Gooners on the now defunct 4chan PDG page made a heister based off the kawaii mask in Payday 2 and made her the mascot of the 4chan board. Also, her leg here is completely broken. Goddamn cloakers in there.
Police brutality.
Payday Circle Jerk came up with Houston's name. A certified "we did it" Reddit moment, this subreddit came up with the Houston name shortly after Hoxton Breakout was released. This was also posted 11 years ago. Feel old yet? Hoxton's real name is Bodhi. Didn't we already establish earlier his name is Jim? Regardless, the only evidence to this theory is a line from Hoxton's lawyer in the Payday 2 Christmas album.
So, Mr. Bo...
Hoxton. I've told you to just call me Hoxton.
This theory is a bit of a stretch, but maybe Overkill was planning to call him Bodhi at one point? I'm just grasping at straws here, let's move on. The Dreaming Temple. In order to activate the Ark of the Watcher under the White House, 4 seals needed to be broken. These seals are located in the Great Pyramid of Giza, the Great Ziggurat, the Pyramid of the Sun, and a mysterious 4th temple in the middle of the Pacific Ocean called the Dreaming Temple. Also known as the location of the sleeping city, Relia, the home of Cthulhu. I guess the promise of immortality is worth pissing off eldritch horrors. Firestarter Day 1 Stealth. This mission wasn't designed to be stealthable, but many people decided to give it a shot as you start the mission undetected. What makes this exceptionally difficult is the amount of guards in the mission, and that being so much as detected by the guards will cause the mission to go loud instantly. To top it all off, there's no stealth bonus for completing it. This is considered by many to be the ultimate test of stealth, and after more than 100 runs, I can confirm that you can beat this heist solo death sentence 1 down. If you count completing it as getting detected at the end and relying on my dodge build to save me, forcing 4 sets of chemicals in Hotline Miami. Simply put, if you open this crate first and then this crate last, you'll spawn enough chemicals to guarantee 4 bags of meth on any difficulty. For a detailed explanation of this, consult the Hotline Miami section of the long guide. Bags leaked money when shot in an early build. Confirmed by Overkill mod Ashley, or Trashly, bags would leak money when shot, losing money in the process, but would also grant mobility the more money that was lost. This was scrapped because with the amount of bullets flying on harder difficulties would make securing loot almost impossible. Moscone was the OG sniper rifle. This is a shotgun with a very unique property. No matter what, this would always fire 1 bullet in a straight line from the screen. Combine this with the broken shotgun damage at the time, and you could essentially one-shot non-bulldozer enemies from across the map. Heisters can lift over 400 pounds. You know those safes in Aftershock? Vlad says they weigh about 400 pounds, and the heisters can carry that easily. Combine that with an ICTV suit, a minigun, RPG, a full set of javelins, and sentries, and you're easily carrying over 600 pounds and can still move about freely. Video game logic at its finest, ladies and gentlemen. The final heist is literally stealing the White House / the USA. Tying into the President Bane entry, if you completed the secret ending, you have essentially stolen the most powerful office in the USA. And Bane still has access to the body swapper underneath the White House, so Bane can always swap bodies with every new president, effectively forever staying in power. Now for some bonus entries. Rat's Day 2 Stealth. Similar to Firestarter Day 1 Stealth, this is another Hector mission that can be done in stealth, except you start with your mask on, so detection is not important. So in this case, if anyone sees a dead body for even less than a second, the mission instantly goes loud. There's still no stealth bonus, and I'm still struggling to complete this on Death Sentence 1 down. Silent Smash Up Side Job. Yet another entry into the non-stealthable missions that are stealthable category. Mall crashes can be done completely silent. Overkill knew about this fan challenge and once issued a side job detailing just that. Jury's still out whether you got a stealth bonus from it. How to obtain Baitface. Simply put, you had to troll the Payday the Heist community in various ways. Some ways include lying about the Wolf DLC release date, publishing fake guides to unlock Baitface, and if Overkill recognized your trolling, you'd be awarded the Baitface mask. Shame it got replaced though. Moving on to Layer 6, the Death Wish difficulty. Tournament Edition. Payday 2's attempt to break into the esports scene. The goal of the tournament was to speedrun a modified version of the Slaughterhouse heist and see who could get the fastest time. To ensure fairness, no RNG was included, teams got 3 tries, and difficulty was higher than Death Wish. Death Sentence wasn't added at the time. All for a cash prize of $1,000 USD. There was even plans for a second tournament running Day 2 of Hoxton Breakout for a prize of $7,000 USD, but was canned when Overkill saw no future in these events. Both endings are canon. A fan theory stating that what if both endings happened in the Payday universe? The theory states that the secret ending was done first, allowing Bane the power he needs to pardon the Payday crew. Then they buried Bane's original body in Mexico, and thanks to the Rumors and Stories video, most members gave up their life of crime to live without being wanted criminals. Personally, I think it's a good headcanon, but I don't think Overkill wanted you to believe this if Payday 3 is anything to go off of Bile's secret. What if I told you that our good old trusty helicopter pilot Bile was based off a community member of the same name? While everyone was focused on the Overdrill secret, this man was on his own adventure tracking down the secret in the undercover heist. Following some clues from the movie Hackers, he eventually found a building with the message to call Mr. Anderson. After contacting him, he got an email from Mr. Wilson, who is Mitchell's neighbor in Counterfeit, asking if he wants to be a helicopter pilot. Secret special spawn table. Ever felt like a heist was spawning way more of one certain special enemy than others? There was a popular rumor that there was a hidden spawn table that would overload heists to give each map a certain theme. It doesn't seem to happen anymore, which led some people to believe it was a glitch, but since Overkill never said anything about this, whether it exists or not is still up for debate. The meth formula is salt water. Combining muriatic acid and caustic soda would, sure enough, produce salt water. If done correctly, as any slight variations to this very delicate balance could cause some serious digestive problems if consumed. And considering that we also have hydrochloric acid in a gaseous state, we're essentially using a 2-to-1 ratio. Not to mention that the salt water would be boiling due to the exothermic reaction it would cause. Okay, science rant over. In Limbo Scarface remake. The Scarface remake movie has gone through a crazy production period that covering all of it would warrant its own video. But the main takeaway is that Payday 2 released the Scarface DLC as cross-promotion for the movie. But when the movie went back into production in 2020, Overkill lost the rights to this IP and was forced to take down the DLC. It's hoping it gets released one day because the Kingpin perk deck is actually pretty fun to use. Fire death screams. Okay, hot take. I've always found the screams of police burning to death to be quite comical or over the top. However, according to this entry, people feel like these screams are a little too close to being real. It's obviously not real death screams, but do people seriously find this creepy? Look, I'm not knocking on the VA's talent. They obviously had a lot of fun recording these lines, but this entry kinda reads like a silly creepypasta. The only thing that's missing is someone asking Almir about this, and then he tears up and hands you a mysterious tape containing the original screams that drove people to end it all. Baldwin coding flag in Harvest and Trustee. Opening all deposit boxes in columns B, A, L, D, W, I, and N in that order would trigger a flag to be set in the code, but it does absolutely nothing. This seems to be a scrapped element of the original Payday 2 secret that never got used. Ancient heister theories. Popping open the Ark of the Covenant in the Henry's Rock heist reveals 4 masks that look identical to the 4 original Payday members. No one really knows what this means, but multiple theories have been proposed. Some of these theories are that they're the latest members of a long line of heisters dueling the Kataru, another says they're time travelers that overshot their destination, and another states an oracle saw into the future and put those masks in as a sign of those who would change the course of history. Actually, that one might explain why the dentist is after you if you saw inside the Covenant himself. Cloakers have guns. Wait, cloakers have guns? Always have. Compact M5s to be exact, but I'm actually surprised to see this as low down as it is. I personally would have put this upper tier myself, but I can understand not paying attention to their guns when most people are focused about them getting fly kicked in the head and then them flexing their judo skills on you.
You call this resisting arrest? We call this a difficulty tweak. Now go to the forums and cry like the little bitch you are!
Don't look at the Titan Dozer. You can cheese the headless Titan Dozers in Safe House Nightmare by simply not looking at them, as they didn't attack players if you didn't have line of sight. This has since been fixed, but I much prefer the sentry trick myself. Payday Circle Jerk predicted the traitor. Pretty self-explanatory. Someone made a post saying who to rat, guessed it was Hector, and months later, they were right.
Well, I sure hope somebody picks up that phone, because I f***ing called it!
Malicious Carrot's disappearance. A YouTuber in the Payday 2 community famous for his shit posts that mysteriously disappeared in 2017, taking all of his content with him. Most of his content now exists via re-uploads, but we'll talk about him again later on. Secret symbol on the biker heist. One of the pillars near the ruined bunker contains a secret symbol that doesn't appear on any other heist in the game. It even appears on the back of the Cursed One mask, but nothing ever came of it and was probably another unused asset for the Payday 2 secret, kinda like the Baldwin flag. Hector was the Overdrill buyer/contractor, another self-explanatory one. Hector was first mentioned in Bane's community post as the person who will fence the Mayan gold after the community solved the overdrill secret. Negative detection of the Arkansas toothpick. In 2015, a typo in the code caused this melee weapon to grant 230 points of concealment. This effectively meant you could bring in miniguns, rocket launchers, and ICTVs and still be at 3 concealment, making stealth heists a lot easier. This wasn't just for stealth builds though. Combine this with Sneaky Bastard and Low Blow and you had a pretty decent crit dodge build for loud heists. This lasted for 3 days before being patched out. The Last Stand Cannon Connection. Once again, we have another Left 4 Dead reference in Payday 2. The Last Stand is a fan-made mod turned official update that tells a what-if scenario where the survivors took a wrong turn and made a last stand against the zombie horde. In the house next to the lighthouse, there's this message, which is very similar to the ending of Payday 2. We already stated that the Green Flu was destroyed after the No Mercy heist, but man, with all these Left 4 Dead references, I'm surprised Payday 3 doesn't have a secret zombie mode or something. Maybe that'll bring people back into the game. Now for some bonus entries. The community created medics. In 2014, Almia created a Steam forum post asking what new enemy types you would like to see added in Payday 2. YouTuber Black Joshi, formerly Black Yoshi, suggested adding a medic character, and after some back and forth between other forum posters, created a simple blueprint for a medic enemy. 1 year later, the medic was added to Payday 2 with almost all the same specifications stated in the forum post. Black Joshi mentions this himself in his Payday 2 video if you're interested. The Payday gang are war criminals. The Payday gang routinely violates Articles 3, 13, and 24 of the Geneva Conventions. 2 problems though. 1, the convention is only applied in an active war zone. And 2, Article 24 only protects non-combat medical personnel, meaning medics lost that protection the moment they fire their gun. Still, killing medics goes on your list of crimes in the FBI files. Hector's sister. Hector has a sister called Juliana Morales, who also happened to be Bonnie's cellmate at the time. She also shared with Bonnie that she knew about Hoxton's setup and the location of the safe house Hector was holed up in. When released, Bonnie shared this info with Hoxton and got repaid with an invitation to the Payday gang. Moving on to Layer 7, the death sentence difficulty. The Commissar is 2 bulldozers in a trench coat. Turning on the Hydra modifier and then killing the Commissar will cause 2 bulldozers to spawn in, which is what this joke is referring to. This funny interaction also works with Hector. Just don't do this in stealth because the bulldozers will instantly open fire, ruining your perfect stealth run. Malicious Carrots return. Turns out your boy is back and streaming on Twitch. Oh. Yeah, you gotta remember this iceberg was made 5 years ago, so a lot has changed in that time. Also, I heard through the grapevine that he wanted to distance himself from Payday content back then. I did find his alternative channel, and I did find him making content with creator Sir Crackerbob on the channel Crashlog, but both channels haven't made anything in a year. Do with that information as you will. Manipulating spawns and AI with a bad CPU. If you play Payday 2 on a potato computer, cop spawns and reaction time will be significantly reduced, making the heist easier. This is due to AI calculations in video games being very intensive on the user's CPU, and the better of a CPU you have, the faster AI calculations can be made. This got patched out in Update 173. Duke is a time traveler. In the FBI files, in 1905, a letter was written by August Lindenhurst, and Duke goes by the same name. And assuming the body in Shacklethorne is also Duke, this must mean that we're now dealing with time travel. This theory falls apart, however, when you realize Duke was named after the August Lindenhurst who wrote this letter, as he was a good friend of Duke's family. So no wacky time travel shenanigans today. White chains.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Apparently this was achieved by applying the white plastic material onto Vlad's armor. Also, the skeletal gloves appear to have the same effect, but that's no longer the case. The animated series was real. Oh god, I wish it was. This was a 2018 April Fool's joke animated by YouTuber animator Harry Patridge that got so popular, rumors started circulating that there was talks about making this official. But they were just rumors and nothing came of it. Also, the song It's Payday rocks hard. medic drones. A user suggested adding medic drones to the game to avoid overusing the Inspire skill, but was ultimately shut down. This would have been forgotten about had the user not decided to have a crash out on the forums. Arguments ensued, bans were thrown around, and the thread got locked. Good times. Every lobby is a split reality. This theory is supposed to be the canonical explanation to Payday 2's infamous desync problem. This is kinda hard to explain if you haven't experienced desync before, but I'll try my best. When desync occurs, players can start experiencing the same heists differently in the same lobby. A good example is getting detected by guards or security cameras through walls. Another example is bags floating in midair with no heister. This entry is referring to split perceptions of the same heist. Rust is trans. No, he isn't. Definitely the most absurd theory on this iceberg. The only evidence we have to support this is the symbol on his axe looks very similar to the transgender symbol. But looking closely, this is actually the sign of the Greek god Mercury, the god of commerce, financial gain, and thieves, among other things. That symbol appears a lot in the Payday 2 secret ending, being associated with life and death. Vlad is the third king. Now, this is a theory I can get behind. Remember the 4 kings I mentioned previously? Well, later in the story, it's confirmed that both the dentist and the elephant are both the healer and the elephant respectively, but the scribe remains unknown, and the most plausible theory is that it's Vlad. The 4th king is dead, but that's not important. Reasons for this is Vlad has his fingers in way too many pies he shouldn't have. The nukes we stole for him in Meltdown were likely used to destroy the Dreaming Temple, and once he realized the dentist and the elephant were playing him, he gave us the diamond to stop the Kataru once and for all. Not to mention, the dentist says,
"My best regards to Kozak,"
which is Vlad's last name. Bane mentions Sputnik in the same breath as the dentist and the elephant.
Dentist, elephant, Sputnik.
Sputnik is Vlad's nickname, and Duke has a dream saying the scribe, guardian with a silver sphere, returns. Silver sphere referring to Sputnik again, the unsolved undercover secret. In the Guide of Bane, Bane states that there was something wrong with the undercover job and the city they're in, and since Bile's secret was solved long before the Guide of Bane was around, this fueled a community belief that we missed something in the undercover job in Payday the Heist. There have been some investigative efforts to find something new, but almost nothing came out of it. And Bane feeling wrong could mean anything, but might have been the first hint of the Payday 2 secret. Personally, I think there's nothing left to find, but I've been wrong before, so who knows? The crew is wanted for jaywalking and littering. In the FBI files, it lists every single heister's crimes that they've committed through the game. In addition to drug trafficking, destruction of private property, and mistreatment of livestock, is jaywalking and littering, which is just unforgivable in my books. Those monsters. Cut suicide bomb vests. By far the darkest entry on this iceberg, this was the original idea on how to force converted cops to fight for you, and while it makes sense from a logical point of view, it was cut because it didn't fit the tone of the somewhat light-hearted series. There's also some rumored screenshots showing the animation, but the closest I can find in-game is the civilian with a bomb vest in Hotline Miami Day 2, although someone did make a suicide collar mod in the mod workshop. Speaking of mods, LastBullet.net's real 10k heist. Here's another can of worms that could use its own video. In short, Overkill gave the creators of Last Bullet $10,000 to support the developing mod scene for Payday 2. Then drama ensued, a lot of name-calling happened, and ex-member AJ Valentine just took the money and ran, forcing the remaining members to rebrand as ModWorkshop.net. No idea where the money went either. Also, don't go to LastBullet.net as it's riddled with viruses now. The original Payday 2 secret. This is referring to the original plan Overkill had for the ending of Payday 2, but the one we never got. The original ending was hinted at all the way back in the Book of Bane, and went as far as Golden Grin Casino before a long period of nothing. Until we got Locke's heists and the story started to pick up again. But during that transition, it's safe to say the original ending was either scrapped or integrated with the new storyline, and Wordsmith had to make do with what he had. And to his credit, pulled off a very satisfying end to the series, until Payday 3 that is. But it seems the original plan is now lost to time. Payday is the keystone that connects all fictional media. Almira has gone on record to say that every heist and crossover is canon. This means that John Wick, Left 4 Dead, Hotline Miami, Scarface, Reservoir Dogs, and hell, even Goat Simulator all canonically exist in the Payday universe. But it extends even further. Through association, John Wick leads us to Fortnite, which then leads us to Marvel and Star Wars. Left 4 Dead introduces the Valveverse, which then leads to Resident Evil and Minecraft. Reservoir Dogs brings in the whole Tarantino-verse, which includes Inglourious Bastards, in turn leading us to a bunch of World War II references, and the list just goes on and on and on. If there was ever a theory of games sharing the same universe, Payday 2 is the keystone that holds it all together. Now for some bonus entries. Stone Cold Prototype. This was the original name for Payday the Heist during its prototype stages, and while no footage of this prototype exists, some of the biggest changes in this prototype was all 4 characters had different nationalities, an unused song, and the inclusion of an Alaskan heist and an airport heist. RNG is canon. How do RNG mechanics fit into the lore? Wordsmith says that every heist is someone retelling the events that happened then, but depending on who you ask, will retell the same story a bit differently. For example, for the Harvest and Trustee bank heist, one may say the vault was at the front of the bank, but another might say it was at the back of the bank. This is also the real canonical reason for every heist having an endless number of cops. 2 cut secret heists. This is a long one, so bear with me. What if I told you that the Payday 2 secret ending was just the beginning of a far grander finale? 2 new heists were supposed to be added after the Ark of the Watcher was activated, known as the Trial of 4 heist and the End of the World heist. Trial of 4 has the Ark open up 4 portals leading to the temples I mentioned in the Dreaming Temple entry, activating the mechanisms within, and Bane and Locke tag teaming operator duty. This task requires 4 people. This is why the 3 kings could never achieve this. After each temple was done, you'd all meet up in an interdimensional junction and immediately be thrown into the End of the World heist. Taking place in the post-apocalyptic Nephilim homeworld, your task is to steal Nephilim artifacts of immeasurable power and seal off the portal to the Nephilim homeworld, while avoiding the Nephilim progenitor, the godlike being who destroyed this world. These artifacts are the reason the Kataru crumbled, but in this case, those artifacts would grant you immense wealth and the ability for Bane to astral project into the president's body. Failing, however, causes the progenitor to cross over to Earth and wipe out humanity. This was ultimately cut due to various behind-the-scenes issues, probably engine limitations, the sheer scope of it all, or maybe just being too inaccessible to non-diehard fans. Moving on to the final layer, Layer 8, the Death Sentence 1 down difficulty. You know what this is, I know what this is, I won't be around the bush. Dallas's beta voice. Good old Texan Dallas. It seems that Overkill wanted to give Dallas a new voice. You can hear it in the Payday 2 beta.
Toxic, follow me. Easy now. There, keep them hands visible.
I'm glad they kept the original voice because at the end of the day,
when I get in, if there's one thing I love, it's a fact.
Ah, I need a medic bag.
Did I miss anything? Let me know in the comments below. More icebergs are being worked on. They just take some time since I'm a one-man army right now. But for now, be sure to stick around, subscribe for more, and I'll see you all in 7 months. How can I not say the word electric?